hopefully some others will, appear. Oh, I guess I have to do this by roll call. We have people on Zoom. So I'm Harriet, I'm here. Janice, I'm here. On Zoom, Cressica. You just have to tell us you're here.
We can't hear you, although I see you're not muted.
Okay, Trevor?
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
Trevor.
Now we also have some guests.
Hello.
So I don't, yeah, they can't see them.
They will be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to go ahead and just introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'm Harry Ware, just
Yeah.
interested.
Don Koshan.
Kathy Kerr.
Eric Jagger.
Okay, so we'll come back to the health center. Solar proposals, we'll minutes. So, did everybody get the minutes from the previous meeting?
I'm not sure I saw them, to tell you the truth.
It's circulate them. The others of you, did we get to read the minutes?
I haven't reviewed them yet. No, sorry.
Well, I guess we can wait and review 2 months worth of minutes at the next meeting. And,
Oh, here they are. Sorry, I
Yeah.
did not see them before. I move that we approve the minutes
okay,
next time.
we'll approve them next time. Second, we have a motion to wait on approving the minutes till the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, in favor, Janice,
Hi.
Trevor,
Aye.
Cressica. In favor of postponing reviewing the minutes, because not everybody's seen them.
Jessica, are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I cut out.
Yeah, we're just voting on a motion to wait until next month to approve the minutes, because not everybody had reviewed them.
Understood, thank you.
Okay, and I agree also, so. We just have to remember that next month.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. So. Oh, Shan. Sorry, Bill did review the, so I'm gonna go to screen sharing. Let's see here. Just gonna- So what I'm showing, so we did, so what we're looking at here is a proposal for solar arrays on the south facing roof of the health center. Now, part of the final plan is to have a ground-based array out behind the health center. That's been slowed down because we have to do more work on assessing what area can be used, because there are some wet areas back there. So that's what the RFP we put out was for the solar, for the south facing. Solar Logics came around and said, why aren't you using the flat roof? And maybe Cressica can address this further, but that wasn't part of the proposal. So that's the only part I've included here on this summary is the for the slope roof portion. Now, this is an open, we posted the RFP, it's an open process. Not all of the designs are identical, both in terms of the size of the panels, the brand of the panels, the type of inverter. And so we need to consider not just the cost, but the design. We are allowed to consider the reputation of the companies and the experience we or others have had with the particular vendors. And we asked them to maximize the amount that they can put on those roofs. Solar Logics suggested we might want to consider trimming some of the trees to the south to reduce shading, but that was not included in the proposal. So I'll just go through what I have here, what I have posted here. I don't know if you can see it, but first one is Solar Logic proposed a 7.8 kilowatt array, which was from a total of 400, the solar 17 of these solar 460 panels. The tax credits we have included here, they are still in effect for 2020, a tax credit, but it's a tax credit equivalent, which it's called the direct pay program. We have to pay the vendor and then get the credit paid to the town. So you have to put the money up front and then it gets paid back, assuming this goes through. Anyway, so I have here is the total price, the expected tax credits and the total, including the tax credits. And then the model, the warranty, and under inverters, Solar Logic included a single Solar Edge inverter. Sundog was the next one. They had a larger array, lower price, 30-year warranty. They used a micro inverter with 2 panels for each inverter, I believe. Revisions was in between at 8.8 kilowatts. Now the second column here I have, because these are all different, we put the price in terms of the dollars per kilowatt hour as a way of sort of doing a more, being able to compare the costs of these offers. Again, they use a different brand and they use micro inverters where there's a single inverter for each panel. PV Main, again, 7.65, they were the highest cost bid. They also use the micro inverter. Now, not knowing anything about the different brands, I did what I could to look it up. I found something called solarreviews.com. I don't know if any of you know anything. I don't know anything about the organization. They rated all of these panels highly. The Canadian Solar, which was the most expensive, was their top rated. The only comment they had was the company proposed by Sundog, SEG 430. They said it was an excellent product. It's a relatively young company. It's out of Austin, Texas. I think it was founded, I think they said in 2016. So it doesn't have as long a track record as some of the other companies. That was their only reservation about that
That's
company.
not bad. 10 years is, I mean,
Yeah.
almost 10 years.
Right.
That's not bad.
It is a smaller company, so all of them have good warranties. PV Main didn't state what the warranty was in the reviews, said Canadian Solar had shorter warranties than some of the others.
Harriet, do you know, is the micro inverter, does that mean that if one of the inverters goes out, the whole panel, the
No.
rest of the panel is still
No, and
functional?
that's one of the advantages.
It's
of
the
this.
opposite.
Say, I asked
It's
for.
the inverse of that. If
So-
one goes out, you can just pull that one out.
Yeah, that's what I-
replace it,
that's
and
what I
not
said.
Stop wrong all.
Yeah, that's what I said. So
Oh,
if
I
one
have-
goes out, the rest of it still
So
works.
with the single Solar Edge inverter, if that goes out,
The
the
whole thing
whole array
goes out.
goes out. With the micro inverters, yeah, you can lose one panel. That was one of the. I asked what the advantages were, and the person from Revision told me that, yes, they were more efficient, somewhat less expensive, about, $1,000 to $2,000 for a typical array. And so it sounded like that was an advantageous thing. As far as the company reputation go, I did ask, it's like circulated among the committee. I think people here on the island, there's been a lot of experience with both Solar Logic and Revision. Both seem to have very excellent reputations for service. Nobody had much experience with PV Main, so we don't know a lot about them. Sundog, I I heard reports that were perhaps unfavorable to Sundog, and I asked for specifics and got two reports. One was for a residential installation that was connected incorrectly, and then it took a long time and a lot of frustration to get that connected, during which time the homeowner lost out on credits and so on. And then I heard through Cressica from about an organization on Mount Desert Island that did multiple installations and had problems with systems failing and then having difficulty, the company not being responsive in terms of getting there to fix the problem. And I thought it was kind of interesting that both of these reports reported similar problems with that company. Although it's still, a small sample. I reached out to the salesperson and asked them, what is their availability for service? What's their typical response time? And could they provide any references? And they have not responded to that request.
And you're talking about Sundog.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else here, I think, this is an open process and, I think we want to try.
I hadn't gone to like installation, but at the point where we were doing quotes, Sundog was definitely like the most responsive and like the most well documented. And so it might be kind of like hit or miss depending upon the salesperson, but I wouldn't have reservations working with Sundog based on my experience with them.
Yeah. And that's partly why I asked for references, because I thought, well, maybe, we could hear from some other people because the reports we had were not very favorable.
I think, I'm not sure, but I write little news articles for Green Energy Times, and they had me go look at the big installation that Bartlett Woods is doing in Rockland. And I think Solar Logics put in the heat pumps, but I think Sundog put on their solar panels. And they were very happy with the work. And that was a big project. I could ask them for a reference if you wanted me to. Is that
Well,
fair to do, or is that?
well, it's okay to do. I just, we need to get a consensus from the group. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I've had them on my project on West Bay. They've done the solar array and the wind turbine.
Yeah.
And they've been very responsive and done a good job. I vetted them through other builders, and they did a very large installation over on North Haven, which was a hybrid system like ours with a turbine, grid feeding and solar, and no one else really was even able to touch that. And Danny and his engineer Doug not only have, but they've done a great job. And we've just gotten our central main power interconnection approval. So they've really done well for me, and they've also done a couple other projects for me. Revision also is a really good contractor. They do a good job, but they seem to have a longer wait and cost more.
I did ask each of these companies when they would be able to start work. Solar Logic said probably around October 1st. Sundog said they would probably, from signing of the contract to completion, they estimated about 3 months. Revision said they could start work around August 1st. PV Maine, I can't remember what they said. I think they said 6 to 8 weeks to get started. So, Sundog, as you can see, has the lowest cost proposal here. Revision and Solar Logics are similar cost, but similar cost per kilowatt hour. Revision was proposing a slightly larger array, which is good. That's fitting with our objectives. And PV Maine was significantly more expensive. Other comments, Cressica? Any comments?
Yeah, I did not see dog proposal. Does anybody else have any comments on why it is so significantly lower cost?
You said,
They're using a different brand of panels. And what they propose, they're using a smaller. There were more of a smaller size panel than the others. I
Oh,
don't
so
know.
it'll fit on the triangular roof.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question?
Break up a little bit.
Yeah, but equipment is, yeah, and the panels are usually not a significant component of the cost, and they wouldn't make a $1,000 difference in the cost per kilowatt.
Yeah. Well, I can pull it up. Wait a second here.
Barry, what did you want to say?
But I won't interrupt me.
No, go ahead.
I'm just curious, do you know what you're looking for production from, what do you gotta generate to offset your?
Well, we're looking to maximize it because we don't think these panels are not gonna cover the full. This array on the south roof won't cover the full. Needs of the health center. So we're just trying to get as much as we possibly can out of
Okay,
it.
and the other thing is the system you're looking at is expandable, so you can plug in, sometimes you're locked in, like if you bought one with a single inverter. That's all you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah,
Microinverters usually can expand, but that'd be something I would look at. And then lastly, the warranties are only as good as long as the company's in business, so you wanna make sure you got somebody that's been around, gonna be around.
right. Good point.
Question two, what's your time frame for making a decision?
Well, we'd like to make a decision. I mean, we're not pressed that we have to do it tonight. We want to make one as soon as possible. For one thing, we're using federal grant money to pay for this. We hope that doesn't disappear. They've been paying. We have other things being paid for that by that grant. So-
Energy Star got the boot today,
Oh, really?
Who got the boot?
Energy Star. It's
Well,
insane.
anyways, we want to spend the federal grant down as quickly as possible. So
Right.
that's one, and also the tax credits probably will go away in 2026, so we want to get it finished this calendar year.
Right,
Well, if
Yeah,
you're trying,
plus the sooner that we get it installed, the more we're going to maximize solar production
course,
this year. If we get it in by July or August.
Yeah, that too. So I just was gonna see if I could pull up the.
if we're trying to maximize production, why did Solar Logic only have 7.8 kilowatts and compared to the others? Of course, PV is basically the same thing, so that's significantly lower.
Yeah, they were using a larger panel size. I guess they couldn't fit as many in. I did ask, I told each of them that was our goal, was to maximize what could be done here.
I can explain. They didn't actually use the roof drawings that we provided them. So they did not actually lay out the array. They guessed it. And that's why it's
Alright.
poorly designed.
Yeah, that sounds lazy to me. So I feel like Sundog came in with mostly what we want. I'm in favor of moving forward with their proposal.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say the same. And I'm very reticent about using Sundog. Revision made a very good design, that basically fulfills our requirements. But I haven't seen the Sundog proposal, so I don't know.
Well, I thought I had sent that to you. I'm sorry.
No, we only got the other three.
Oh, I apologize for that. I thought I had sent all of them. I can send it around. I have it. Actually, let me go back to my.
As part of their various proposals, did they include the mounting schematics so that you know how they're going to attach to the roof?
Some of them did, but not all of them. So this is, I'm showing Sundog's,
Just do it the way.
here.
Well, especially when you give them the. type
This
of
is,
roof.
this picture is not ours, this is just their advertisement. This is what they had proposed for, our array. Um. And, this is they did, they did talk about here, they talked about the mounting system.
Can you read what it says? What does it say about the mounting system?
Says it's a sleek, lightweight rail
It's the
solution,
aluminum channel
Ultra-rail.
ultra rail. It's industry standard now.
yeah.
It sits on a very discrete foot that has adhesive rubber. Bitchethane on the bottom, so when they install it, they just bed it right into a bituminous caulking, screw it in. It's low profile, so the wind doesn't really get under it.
Is the architect of the building going to accept it? That's the key.
Yeah, you actually don't have to hit framing with it, because there's 4 fasteners in each one. As long as you're in the roof deck, you're fine. We usually do try to steer them to the framing though,
Well,
at least let them hit layout there and go.
Could you email that also, Harriet?
Yeah, so let me, um, I will, yeah. I will get that to you, so. So first of all, do people feel, I mean, there's only 4 of us here today, we could postpone voting on this. And do it maybe either by a Zoom call or by email votes. I apologize, I thought I had sent out all of them, so. If not everybody got a chance to review them. Is there more information that people would like to have?
I'm satisfied.
as a point of information, I have a very good friend who had Solar Logic do a bunch of work on her home. And they did a phenomenal job,
Yeah.
in her opinion, okay? And it's still working, so that's good. But that's one sample, and she lives very close to their corporate office in Belfast.
Yes, we've had good feedback on both Solar Logics and Revision. Sounds like what we have on Sundog is mixed. We've heard some good things and some, less favorable. Jessica, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would like to review the Sundog proposal and try to understand their pricing. And then, then maybe we can ask the committee to, have a special meeting. To further discuss it.
So,
I'm on their website. I can't see from the website how long they've been in business.
Sundog,
Yeah, it's not obvious from their website.
And
right, well, some of the warranty,
they've been in business for a while, I don't
Yeah.
know.
12 years.
these warranties are the
Yeah. For
manufacturer's.
a solar
warranty.
company, they've been in business a
Yeah.
while.
Most of these people also, these companies all put a warranty on their work. Most of it was 1 or 2 years. Sundog actually said 5 years for their installation work. All right, so we'll plan, to figure out how to do this. We'll circulate them. Maybe we can try to. How much time do you think we have? Do you want to allow a week? Next week's gonna be tough for me.
Yeah, I'm starting Friday. I'm out of town till the 17th and I won't have internet.
Okay.
But if you have a quorum otherwise.
I'm gonna be out of town also, it won't mean that I can't do a Zoom call. All right, well, we'll figure that out offline.
Harriet, man, as you may recall, I come from the forensic side of the engineering field.
Yeah.
And the biggest question I would ask any of these companies.
Yeah.
Is what's their fire history.
Okay,
And it's the micro electronics in the systems that ignite. And we've examined the causation of many
mhm,
solar panel fires across the country. And it's no one brand necessarily is any better or worse than the other for fire resistance,
mhm.
ignition resistance. So nobody's gonna tell you that in their promo material, I'm
Right.
sure. But
So it has more to do with the installation than the product?
no, it does have something to do with the product,
Mhm,
but it's also the installation.
okay,
And, you know, I don't know any of these companies to speak of personally, but.
yeah,
The folks that didn't do a good job out in Mount Desert may have been overwhelmed because they were doing a big project somewhere else and all their good guys were down doing that, so. Timing is relative to their installation
Mhm.
efficiency,
right,
and so, anyway.
I know that sometimes now, the
mhm,
newer batteries that they're using have an extinguisher in the battery. And historically, a lot of the problem was with sizing
mhm,
and with terminal size and wire sizing, stepping in the right direction as it goes towards the battery,
mhm,
and they were overheating.
Yes.
mm,
Now that the batteries have a way to extinguish it themselves, maybe that's changing too.
interesting.
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, before we move on to talking to all our guests, just one other thing, we had talked at our last meeting about our doing a community event possibly in July. And several people said they were interested in helping out. I think Monica and Bill both indicate, I think basically everybody said they would help out, but we didn't have anybody who was able to step up and say they would lead it, which is really pretty essential. We really need to get started if we're gonna do it. So I was wondering, we could have co-chairs divided up a bit.
Do we have a theme of what we want the community event to be about? Or we're starting from scratch with that?
Not entirely, I didn't put it on the agenda, at our last meeting, you were away. We created a task force to create a new mission statement for the, committee. And, we thought the content would flow out of that, but yeah, we're basically starting from scratch. We did talk about possibly having a fair type of format.
So I'm not adverse to doing it, it's just I'm not gonna be here a lot until after the middle of June, so
Need help.
getting it done by the middle of July seems like I might not be
We
able
had
to do
talked
that.
about August, but it sounded like there were so many other events going on in August. That would, and there was hope that, we'd like to get some of the seasonal
Right,
residents.
I would love us to focus on the second home summer people and get them
Right,
more enthusiastic about doing energy upgrades to their homes.
yeah.
I don't have a grand idea on how to do that, but
Well, playing devil's advocate about that, and I'm year round, so. They're electric, most of them don't have air conditioning, I'm assuming. And so you don't run the lights that much in the summertime.
Yeah, but
they heat
They
their
still-
homes. in
the
winter.
data that we had collected previously was that they used. I think wasn't it like half the electricity on the
Yeah,
island?
pretty
Was
close,
from
it was
some
between
homes.
40 and 50%, I don't remember the exact amount, but
During the summer months?
no, for
For
the
the
whole
total.
year, because they're still heating their homes all year.
Oh.
Some of them are, not all, but yeah.
But yeah, those big houses use,
Oh, sure.
So what do you want from them? Come at it back.
heat pumps, or whatever, get off oil heat. Maybe consider solar.
Seems like the one thing that you could offer to everyone that would be very appealing would be the battery bank. So they can enjoy all their comforts when the power's down.
Mm,
And if nothing else, dangle that out there as the fare. to excite people to come,
Yeah.
or give them something to wanna see, or get.
My thinking about the event was that if we were gonna do it in July, we would need for our next meeting to identify a date, a venue, caterer, and be thinking about content, I mean, and whether or not we had wanted to invite any. We want to invite any outside.
Let's maybe
Yeah.
maybe next meeting just have an item for like reviewing updates to like mission statement so that we know the
Yes.
direction that we want to go with it. Bill and I had started discussion about it, but I think we can loop everyone else in a wider email chain and start making progress on it. If we have a deadline for like voting on like a new mission statement, since like largely we've accomplished the things that we initially set out to do, then
Right.
then we have more of a like we have goals and we have tactics associated with them. The four goals that we have is increase Islesborough's resilience in the face of growing climate challenges, electrify the island, reduce or eliminate use of fossil fuels, and reduce the amount of money island residents or spend on energy.
Yeah,
Those are
but
like
that's,
the initial things that we sort of outlined, and then once we adopt those, then we can decide how to attack an event.
okay, I think that all makes sense. I mean, you know, if we can't get it done by July, we can't get it done, maybe we can find a date in August, I mean, you know, we can, at least start trying to nail down a date and then, as you said, review the mission and the content at the next meeting.
I think it's an even between July and August in terms of busyness, as long as you get something on the schedule early enough in August that summer families with children haven't left.
Yeah.
To get their
A lot of them leave by the
kids
middle of
back in
August,
school,
yeah.
that early August is. I think that the bulk on the island is similar.
Yeah,
Mid-July and early August.
right. All right. Well, I wanted to, you know, spend some time, so we have, 4 guests here that we've invited to, who've expressed an interest in the committee. So I welcome everybody. There's also another person, Ava Schlottman, who wasn't able to make it tonight, but is also interested. We have room openings, formal openings for 2 voting members of the committee, but, you know, I think we would really welcome everybody's participation, even already tonight, you know, we've heard useful input from all of you, so maybe we could just go around and each tell the group a little bit about what your interests are. You know, I think Trevor just actually did a nice job summarizing what our current priorities are. When the committee started, first priority was to make the town municipal buildings more energy efficient, and we're kind of finishing up those projects, and so we're sort of looking out to the wider community as well, so. Okay, Eric, you want to start?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been in touch with Bill Thomas for
Yeah,
years. Cause he's such a good resource
Mhm.
to talk to about thermodynamics all the way to our
Yeah,
values.
yeah.
He actually knows the math behind some of the things we're trying to figure out.
Right,
And over that time, he's just told me about the committee. So when he said that you guys were looking for more input, I
Yeah.
just thought I'd come and offer to help. I don't have a lot of time to
Yeah.
devote because I'm busy with projects and I got 3 kids in college right now.
That's all?
And oh my goodness, and 2
All the kids he
houses.
has, they're all in college.
But I sure do like to help. And I know about these things because it's kind of my hobby. I just really I hate wasting energy.
Mhm.
And I like delivering value in the projects I give. It's all related for me.
Yeah.
So however I can help in whatever capacity, I'd be glad to.
Well, you know, even having help you know, when we're doing a project,
Yeah,
reviewing the specs and the proposals is really
I
helpful.
actually,
for
I have
staff.
real-time experience with a couple of these companies and I can kind of understand
Yeah,
the numbers just
Okay.
from knowing them.
um. And, Kathy?
Longtime interest in alternative energy sources. So I've been researching them for myself. God, 25, 30 years. And until building this new house, hadn't been able to implement them for a number of reasons.
Mhm.
Very frustrating. So it's been very satisfying to put it all to work on the new house, which is net zero.
Mhm.
Barry and I have the two net zeros houses on the island, I guess.
I think Bill does too.
Oh, well, yeah.
I might be close.
Um,
Mhm.
I would say that I also worked hard on energy at the ICC when I was the chair, and we accomplished some buildings to the kind of goals that Trevor was outlining. That's probably the kind of area where my strengths are, as opposed to, there's a lot of technical expertise here, which the
Right.
committee could use. My strengths are more in broad planning, in making policy decisions, in getting people on board to do things and accomplish things. Those are where I would say, with a long-term focus on alternative energy. Like me.
Well, mine's pretty similar to Eric. I have real life experience with this stuff. I know how it works. I've installed it. My focus would be, I guess, as a volunteer would be to help with the batteries for the island. If they think they're gonna go down that road, I'd like to see that happen. So we
Well,
have a good
that's-
backup system for the whole island.
Yeah.
just here.
Well, that's been one of, yeah, as you've heard. Um. We'll come back to that, but, yeah, I think people with the experience is very, very helpful, because there's often really practical elements that someone like me doesn't get. You have anything down? Yeah. Yeah,
You done?
Yep, done.
Okay. I'm a forensic engineer. I'm
Yeah.
a mechanical forensic engineer with a lot of electrical background. Where my specialty is failure analysis and
Yeah.
fire causation. All kinds of calamity issues, but the reason I'm sitting here tonight is because I'm interested in protecting islanders, okay?
Mhm.
I'm not interested in the details like you folks are, and I really don't know much about batteries, so. My offer is to be a consultant, probably is the best choice,
Mhm.
where when you are making decisions about specific
Mhm.
arrangements, I'll bring up, this could go wrong, have you thought about it?
Yeah.
And, I'll bring my former technical experience into potentially benefiting and hopefully saving some lives and fires, electrocutions. You might, well, the biggest, just for those of you who haven't been in this arena. When there is a roof fire, the biggest issue fire people have is shutting off the electricity. Because if the sun's going on, sun's out, it's still generating.
Mhm.
And it's going somewhere. And even so, throwing water on a solar fire is a real big issue,
Oh, yes, well.
okay? And even at night, it
Mhm.
becomes a real big issue because of storage batteries. So having the shut off in multiple locations so that the fire department can get to it quickly and potentially shut off that energy so they can get up on the roof and they can fight the fire or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Big issue, big problem. Primarily, this
Well-
occurred in commercial buildings, but it still
Yeah.
happens in residents.
I think that kind of expertise can be very helpful. and I know that Mert would welcome it a lot. They have sometimes expressed concern about the things that we're proposing because of the limitations of the firefighter. And actually, we purchased for them a kits for fighting fires in electric cars. And they had a training session for that last year.
More and more, the island has more and more electric vehicles.
So, what about in terms of, I mean, we have these projects going on, so what we've been doing like with the solar things is, you know, contacting people, getting the proposals, then coordinating the schedule. We talked about, you know, helping to organize a community meeting, grant writing, we haven't mentioned, but, you know, we probably will be doing some more grant writing as well. So there's real value in having people who can come and just advise us as you proposed on some of these things. We also need people who can commit some time. So what's your availability? I know you said you were not very available, but Kathy?
I'm full-time retired.
Yeah.
I'm not actively volunteering anywhere else except Sewing Circle right now, so
Hmm.
I'm looking for a new place to put my volunteer energy.
Great.
And energy
Yeah.
is one of my top priorities in life.
Right.
Have reasonable time, you know, if it was a defined task.
Yeah. And you
Uh,
more limited.
well, I know right now, because my wife has taken on the Sewing Circle project, I'm gonna be very involved in that. And that goes through, what is that, July or? August?
Okay.
August, first week of August.
Oh, well,
You'll be busy till the first.
yes, yes. Plus we have a lot of family coming, you know, typical.
You familiar with the term indentured servant?
Yes.
And Ava Schlockman, Bill talked to, said she was very enthusiastic, has a lot of energy, really is interested. She's not sure what she's gonna be doing after the end of the summer, so, you know, she may.
Ava's a super person.
When?
Ava's a super person. and
I
she
don't know
put
her, but that's what I've heard, yeah.
She put her
So
force to the
she may be
energy
another
committee. You'd
person
be
who.
pleased to have her.
Is, so, let's see. Where are we? So, we'll come back to that in a minute. The only other business that I had was I wanted to mention, and Kreska knows about this, there was some talk about whether we wanted to submit for another round of the ETIP program. The ETIP program was one that we participated in, and a few years ago, Janice was the lead in that process. And I don't remember exactly what it stands for, Energy Transition
It's a horrible
Initiative.
acronym.
Yeah, Energy Transition Initiative Partnership. This is a Department of Energy program, and they are taking applications up to July 27th for this coming year, so it's still active. What they did for us a few years ago was to look at all the data from the island, energy use, analyzed it. They're the ones who sort of made an outline for things we might consider, including encouraging increasing energy efficiency. They said the island could be energy self-sufficient, but really it would require, you know, more of the island buildings, improving their efficiency to reduce the overall utilization. But they said, you know, using a combination of solar production with microgrids and battery storage, that it could be done. We would need funding for that. What we were thinking of with another round of the ETIP was to get their technical expertise to actually put together a more detailed plan, which then could be used to as the basis for applying for funding to get the plan implemented.
A
Cressica,
plan towards self-sufficiency long-term.
yes. You know, and improve resiliency in the event of outages and so on. Now, again, doing the grant application takes a fair amount of work. Kreska, do you want to add anything to that?
I would just say that, yeah, we've been, working towards a collaboration with, like microgrid designers at NREL, would be able to support us really well in a detailed design process, in comparison to the conceptual design that we did last time. So yeah, it's a good opportunity and probably the only opportunity we have to
Yeah.
move forward with the design in the next 3.5 years.
Right.
Well, the other thing is we already did the other one, so the basics, the upfront stuff like description of the island and all that. Do they
Yeah.
still want like all the video man on the street kind of things that they did the last time? Kreska, do you know? Have you looked at it? Remember how we went around and did videos with people and,
As in,
So-
have we heard anything about that?
well, I know they made us do it, but I'm not sure they really used any of it, but. if we
Yeah,
have
I have
to-
Go ahead.
I mean, if we have to do it, we just have to figure out how to get it done in time.
I mean, I
I
think
don't-
in general, any grant application, there's going to be recyclable material. So
Right,
we already have things and they'll be useful in the future.
again, so I don't mind helping with this, but I'm out of town till past the middle of May, and then I'm out of town again for 10 days in June, if you all can live with that.
It seems to me that it's worth, I mean, right now, a lot of the funding things are kind of up in the air. We did submit, as people on the committee know, a concept paper for a grant program for rural energy for renewable energy in rural communities. And as far as I can tell, that's on hold. It's not clear that the grants are even going to be awarded.
Is ETIP a more likely funding source to keep its funding?
Well,
It's-
we don't get money, we get technical assistance, so.
I mean, yes, I
So
know
they
that,
haven't-
but are they still getting money to pay for the technical?
Have they been dosed yet? I don't think so, I haven't heard.
No, they seem to be still in operation. All right, well,
Yeah,
we'll plan.
they are, but they also, like yesterday, NREL got like 3 to 4% of its staff laid off. So there is uncertainty, but so far they are moving forward with the ETIP program. And this time, they are also awarding a prize of $50,000 per community. So we would get some funding to conduct activities related to ETIP.
Well, I mean, we might as well go for it, right? So, what we have to lose is time.
And in fact, they have to pretty much approve. We have a budget from the town, which has covered a lot of our town activities. Each contract, like if the solar thing, we make a recommendation. It's actually the select board that does the final approval. And we pretty much, like with the grant applications, we keep them appraised of the process. They
Sure,
approve the
sure,
final
Sure.
Thing, but yes, we,
You're not getting pushback is really what I'm asking.
no,
Good.
no.
Second
Just the
thing
opposite.
is, if
Opposite,
we were
yeah.
to try to become completely solar efficient here on the island and energy independent, is there enough land, free land, that would be opened up for solar panels?
Yeah,
yes.
Well, last year we applied for a grant, which we didn't get, but in the process of applying for that, we got MOIs or MOUs from, I think it was 14 landowners
Something like that.
who were willing to consider using their land, and the total amount of that was more than would have been needed.
For
Now,
the
those,
whole island?
yeah, for the whole island, yeah.
Because I have 7 acres and I could probably, we could figure out a way to get to it.
Yeah, most of these were small parcels,
And
so, that actually there's advantages and.
And the other thing is if you put in trackable solar panels, you gain 40% energy in that same space.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're more expensive,
That would
but-
be a decision down the road. The disadvantage, of course, is, you know, you've got more mechanical parts and things that potentially could fail or need, yeah.
What do you do about the snow loads? Not the load per se, but the covering.
If you have, well,
They do better. Those ones do better. Because they're moving,
Yeah.
they're fine. It's a constant weep. If you look close at the ones in Augusta, they got the pitch just a little wrong for shedding snow. Look at the ones up on the way to Winterport, they're a little steeper. For whatever reason, it's just enough.
Hmm.
But it's a valid point in Maine. Cause unless you can go up there and clear them,
Sure.
it's worth.
Acres and acres.
To say it costs more and there's mechanical stuff to go wrong isn't really a fair way to look at the moving one that tracks it, because you get your money back. They just
No.
they don't break down regularly. I would say.
All right. Okay, so we just wanted to have an executive session.
Can I make an
Okay.
announcement before?
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
We've been through the whole process with the Island Institute and we had 3 very, very, very good
Oh.
candidates and the one that Candace and I agreed met the interest of both groups is a woman named Elizabeth. I don't have her last name in front of me. The Island Institute hasn't signed the MOU and stuff with her yet, so I've just asked that. I just found out today that she accepted the offer. She's
Great.
got a research and analytic background, so what we had wanted the fellow to do for us was help us analyze and track the programs that we've already done and see what kind of impact they've had and so her research background is gonna be a big help to us, I think. And then for the ICC, she's gonna be working with developing career track information for green energy careers with the high school. Right, but yeah, we have a fellow and she's amazing.
So when does she start? September?
September,
Woohoo!
yeah. Yeah, it's great, it's great.
That's just
Anyone,
our owl hooting.
any one of the 3 would have been fantastic, but this one was especially. So it's really good news.
Yeah. So we're gonna have an executive session for a few minutes. I welcome all of you and you know, if it was up to me, we'd invite all of you to be full voting members.
You don't need
And
too
in
many.
fact, what?
You don't need too many.
Well, true, but
So just
I think that you all have a lot to contribute.
So did I hear that 2 of you mostly want to be like consultants and help with specific projects, but not necessarily on the committee all the time? Is that what?
That's my choice.
And if I'm one of those 2, I'd be fine with that, but if
Okay.
you need me to participate more, I'd make an effort to
Okay.
do it. It's your choice.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we could certainly create a consulting member.
And you won't hurt my feelings.
Okay.
Either way, I'll come and tell you what I know.
It's really exciting to have all of you here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like our coat runneth over.
Yeah, I think it'll be great.
Wait till you we start telling them our real opinions.
Exactly. I just want to talk to you about flame spread index, but we don't need to share that with them. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
thank you.
thank you all for.
Thanks,
coming.
nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you
having
guys.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, for executive session, I have to step out as well,
Okay,
but I can wait out there and then you alert me and you can
Yes.
come, I'll come back in and count the votes.
okay. Again, I'm not so sure that we, well, we'll talk about it, but.
Okay, so then you just have to make a motion and vote to go into executive session.
So I move that we go into executive session.
Second,
Okay, vote.
Oh.
Janice.
I.
Me. Trevor, I, Cressica.
Jessica, yes, I.
So.
The next right on North Searsport Road,
Um,
then turn left to stay on North
And I
Searsport
think
Road.
we have to shut off Zoom too because other people could pop in anytime.
Yeah,
Unless
we
you're
need to
not
talk.
worried about that.
I'm not too worried about that.
Okay,
It's not like we have anything.
I'll
to
just
do.
stop the recording.
We'll stop talking to some people.